Hello, Zoom Drain Nation. Owning a business is a journey, and every journey comes with its own set of ups and downs. In this session, we're going to dive into a tool that we're going to call the transition curve. It's a powerful framework to help you understand the emotional stages of change. Whether you're navigating growth, team challenges, or personal transitions, this curve can serve as a map. You'll walk away with a deeper understanding of where you might be on a given curve, and just as importantly, where your team and your loved ones might be. Recognizing these stages equips you to lead with empathy, clarity, and resilience as a franchisee and full-fledged business owner. So the transition curve is a simple curve on a piece of paper that shows the 6 distinct phases a typical human being goes through when they're navigating a change in their life. The first would be known as uninformed optimism, and that's a situation where you don't know what you don't know, and everything sounds fantastic. The next phase would be what's known as crisis of engagement. That's when things typically become real. That's where the rubber hits the road, as they say. That might be when you signed your franchise agreement, or decided to marry your spouse, or decided to have kids, or decided to change jobs. The next phase is what's known as informed pessimism. That's when you start to uncover the things that you not necessarily or didn't necessarily have in mind when you were embarking on this change. So it's a natural course of things, and it's just a time to be open and aware. The next phase would be known as crisis of meaning, and that's the toughest phase. That's when people are second-guessing the decisions or wishing they'd made another decision because it's tough and not everything feels rosy and happy at this point. This is probably the toughest point in the transition curve. Happily, the next phase coming out of crisis of meaning is what's known as informed optimism. This is when you start to understand all of the elements and all of the variables in front of you and you have a good lay of the land. Nothing surprises you, you take everything in stride, and you're able to look at things more holistically. The last phase is what's known as hopeful realism. That's when the clouds start to part, the sun starts to come out again, and you feel that you've got your arms around the entire situation, good or bad, but you feel like you've mastered the situation and you've made it through this specific change in your life. So these are the 6 stages of the transition curve. It's very helpful to know where you are on the curve. It's helpful to be realistic about where you are on the curve. It's also very helpful to understand where other people are on their given curves. It creates a common language and some empathy at the right places. And also as a manager or supervisor, it helps you understand where you need to keep the pressure on and where you might need to take the pressure off. It might be helpful to print out the copy of the transition curve and review it with your team to create that common language and to remove some of the anxiety that people might be feeling in parts of the unknown. So in terms of our core values, there's grit, there's responsibility, optimism, and willingness. Know that you're going to be able to fight through. It's not all going to be bad, but there are going to be tough spots, and the rewards will be plenty when you fight through and enjoy the next phase of hopeful realism after crisis of meaning.